Is there your map? Needs a map. I am Spitzuki. I wanna fuck Austin. Sorry about that. The story of Dot Flow is far more interesting than Five Nights at Freddy's. What I like about Dot Flow's story in most of the Dream Diary games is that you put the pieces together yourself. They're not deliberately given to you like Five Nights at Freddy's, and you have to put a little bit of effort into piecing it together, like when did this happen, how did this happen. It was deliberately given to you in Five Nights at Freddy's, but that's not the case with Dot Flow or any of the Dream Diary games. You put the pieces together yourself. You're given a little bit of information, but other than that, it's up to you to figure out what happened and what the story's about. For example, in Yume Nikki, there are plenty of pictures depicting Marusuki being raped by somebody. But the thing is, it's not deliberately shown that Marusuki was raped. Like, it's not blatantly saying that she was raped. It shows a little bit of imagery giving the impression that she was raped. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you weren't really focusing into it that much, like, you wouldn't know that she was being raped. It's very hard to explain, but it's very interesting how it works. In Dot Flow, it follows the story of Sabitsuki and how she is supposedly hospitalized, since there is a lot of hospitalized imagery in the game, and we can assume that there is some sort of disease which is assumed to be rust. You see, it's not a defined story like Five Nights at Freddy's. It's more of you can think of your own story on how all this happened, which I really appreciate. I'm not saying the story of Five Nights at Freddy's is bad, in fact it's alright, but I like Sabitsuki's story more and most of the Dream Diary stories better. The music in Dot Flow was very deep. Deep to the point leaving a lasting impression on me. While it may have repeated and was only a few notes, it sounded really nice and it gave off the impression of horror. Music is added into horror games to make you feel alone, to make you feel empty on the inside, and that's what makes the game more scary, and that's how Dot Flow succeeds in that aspect. Just listen to the opening theme of Dot Flow and tell me you don't feel a little bit of emptiness on the inside. How about Yume Nikki's Dark World theme? It's very well put together, and most Dream Diary games only consist of a few notes for songs and it loops. And it's not a bad thing if it sounds really nice. Now, let's listen to Five Nights at Freddy's soundtrack. Yeah, I don't hear anything. The main problem I have with Five Nights at Freddy's, and I cannot believe I didn't say this in my Five Nights at Freddy's videos, is there's no music at all. And I looked it up, apparently there are only 6 songs in Five Nights at Freddy's. But during your whole entire playthrough of Five Nights at Freddy's, you will hear no music. And this is one of the reasons why I don't find Five Nights at Freddy's scary. You need to add music in your horror games, or any video game for that matter. There are 2 options. Either you add music to your game and it sucks, or you just add music to your game and it's good. No, there's no option where you don't add music to your game. That doesn't make it exciting and it doesn't make it scary. I mean, seriously, just imagine if any major horror game did not have its soundtrack with it. It wouldn't be as scary. I mean, for fuck's sake, Slender had music. And the thing is, they didn't seem to fix this problem in the future games, so I guess they think having no music in your game is a good thing? Look, pro tip for Five Nights at Freddy's 5, because it's bound to happen, add music to your horror game. I mean, that's it. Just add music and you're good to go. I understand this is a one-man project made by Scott, whatever the fuck his last name is, but seriously, if he can program a game, he can make music for it also. But then again, .flow was made by a single man named Lol, and he made the music and developed the game, so there's no fucking excuse. Atmosphere is what makes a horror game good. Five Nights at Freddy's takes place in a pizzeria. .flow, on the other hand, takes place in your nightmares. Well, okay, sign me up for the game then. Your NPCs also matter in a horror game. Five Nights at Freddy's NPCs consist of animatronic animals. .flow's NPCs, on the other hand, are infected, mangled teenagers with white hair called the Kaibutsu. These fucking things are nightmare-inducing, and you're gonna tell me in front of my face that the animatronic animals are better than the Kaibutsu? That is a load of shit. Visually speaking, .flow is more appealing to the eyes than Five Nights at Freddy's. Just because it's 3D, it doesn't mean it's good. What I'm trying to say is the environment of .flow looks way better than Five Nights at Freddy's single environment of pizzeria. Oh, the second game was a pizzeria again, but with the third game they changed it up to a museum of museumersy. But then in the fourth game they changed it to the house of housery. Keep in mind, these are only single places, which brings me to my next point. Exploration is done tremendously well in .flow and all of the Dream Diary games. Say, while you stick around in that one room, that one security room for all the fucking games, I'll be playing .flow and exploring my nightmares for endless hours. .flow's world I actually want to explore. Five Nights at Freddy's, I can't. I'm restricted to just one room. The fanbase for the Dream Diary games and .flow is not fucking cringeworthy, and that's a blessing. .flow was made 3 years before Five Nights at Freddy's in 2009. It was made 3 years before Five Nights at Freddy's and managed to be more scary than Five Nights at Freddy's. So 3 years ago, you could have played .flow instead of this piece of shit. This is mostly personal preference, but I feel the cosplay for .flow is way better than Five Nights at Freddy's cosplay.
Hello, is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes.
Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's is $7, huh? It's $4 for the first game, $7 for the rest of the game. .flow is free! You can experience a horror classic on your PC for free. The final point I want to bring up, .flow is not riddled with fucking jump scares. Oh, a horror game that doesn't have jump scares in it and it's good? What? Surely, the world must be coming to an end if that's possible. Jokes aside, this is what ruined Five Nights at Freddy's in my opinion. No music, unappealing atmosphere, and riddled with jump scares. A game doesn't need jump scares to be scary. It's cheap, it's not good, it's fucking stupid. Don't add jump scares to your game unless they're well thought out. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end. The end. .flow's better, the end. So instead of you playing garbage-ass Five Nights at Freddy's 4, why don't you download .flow for free and have a wonderful experience? I can guarantee that. Well, I can't guarantee that if you don't like exploration games, but if you want a good horror classic, play the fucking game. It's good. It's great. I love it. 10 out of 10. Better than Five Nights at Freddy's. The end. I'll see you on the next video, guys. I'm the Rant Man, and I will defend Flow if it's anything and anything I want to fuck Sabisuke. Thank you.